ready to No, are you ready to Dabrye?
Are you ready to dab read?
Are you ready to go to Dabrye University?
University. Let's go.
Dabrye is a producer from Ann Arbor, Michigan. 3-3 is his sixth studio album and is the last in the trilogy of the Out of 3 series, starting with 1 out of 3 in 2001 and followed with 2 out of 3 in 2006. 3 out of 3 is the current album we are reviewing. Last October, he dropped the track The Appetite featuring Rock Marciano, Danny Brown, and Quelly Chris. I liked Quelly Chris and Danny Brown, and when reviewing this project, I realized I hate Rock Marciano. I think I was able to see past that before, but
yeah, Martini on the Rocks was kind of boring.
Yeah,
they give him 2 super long verses, and it just
he sounds like Cold Keith, but I want to get into that till later.
Was cool.
Talk about it. Then the track that blew me fucking away and got me really hyped from this album because I thought the production on was good. I thought the guest was on it was good. I thought this was how the album was gonna be set up: hype guest over hype ass beats, little motherfuckers with Doom. Just one of Doom's best performances in years.
Absolutely.
In years.
We've returned to form.
This beats anything he dropped last year. Hands down. Any of the fucking B-side shit he dropped on the what was it? The Unholy Note. No, it wasn't.
The Notebook.
The Notebook something. I think there was a word before Notebook, but I can't remember. It's not even a thing anymore. But I was really excited. I was really interested going to this. Never listened to a Dabrye project. Dabrye.
Missing Notebook.
The Missing Notebook. I'd never listened to one of his projects before, and I was really excited to listen to this because the Doom track was good. I thought The Appetite had Danny Brown and Quelly Chris's performance was good, and I was interested going into this. But after going into this, I thought there's a lot of interesting characters on this project. Again, Quelly Chris, Doom, Quelly Chris, Danny Brown, Doom, Rock Marciano. John Wayne's on this project. Ghostface Killer's on this project. There's a lot of other people I can mention, but I feel like because the production is kind of lackluster. No, the production is lackluster on this project. For one, it doesn't progress. Isn't really unique except for little motherfuckers. The characters on this project cannot shine through. John Wayne is a very, very punchy / unique performer, and on his track he's not able to shine through. The beat that he's over does not suit him whatsoever, and it just kind of repeats. Also, the mixing's kind of poor on a lot of the tracks on this album, so a lot of the guests just feel like outweighed by the beat, and I don't care for it that much. There's no unifying elements, no narrative, which I didn't expect a narrative, but I did expect something unifying, like La Orange, how on The Ordinary Man, a recent producer-only project, where he had this little narrative he built of sound clips of this ordinary man figure that I really, really enjoyed. The Magician, I think.
The Magician.
What was he called? The Ordinary Man.
He was the Magician.
Okay, I don't know. I said the Ordinary Man figure. But yeah. This album's like an hour long. Does not need to be in it.
40.
Oh, was it?
40 minutes.
I think I meant to say 40 minutes. It's 40 minutes long. Does not need to be 40 minutes. And I think overall it's just not something I want to listen to. And I'm kind of disappointed by it. I thought there was a lot of good that could be had on this project. But in the end, I'm kind of just like feeling like I wasted my time by listening to it. I did not really care for this. I don't think it's the worst thing I listened to this year by any means, but I just did not enjoy it. I know you feel differently than me, so I'm gonna let you have the floor.
I actually enjoyed 3-3 quite a bit. And contrary to what Vincent says or believes, I think Dabrye is a really talented producer. Obviously inspired by the likes of the Avalanches and huge inspiration for him, Jay Dilla. The death of Jay Dilla and his mother combined kind of made him take this hiatus of like 12 years, and then finally he came back to finish his work. I think that I almost think that Dabrye brought together a lot of these are more Detroit based MCs
Yeah.
and producers, I guess, together to work on this, with the exception being Doom. Um, what?
What?
Oh, never mind.
Doom's from Detroit.
Doom lived in Toledo, Ohio.
Doom actually lives in the nearest dumpster, and you summon him.
He
comes from the grime, the filth. He comes
every time somebody needs him, he comes out of the dumpster.
So he technically lives everywhere. He lives in the grimes that are in all city, the grimiest spots.
Yes.
Not being a grime artist, but he's just filthy.
He's dirty.
He needs to take a bath.
But I almost feel like when there's a bigger name on the track, Dabrye almost tries harder to meet the needs of that artist. But when they are not as well known, and he knows that they probably won't do as good of a job, he tones down a little bit and kind of saves his talents. It's almost like when you play an RPG and you can level up like different areas of your skill tree. Well, like, he wanted to like save some of his points for higher artists, so he like only used a few of them on lower artists. But I mean, I've got to say, like, tracks like Little Mufukuz with Doom, tracks like The Appetite with Rock Marciano, Quelly Chris, and Denny Brown, tracks like Pretty with John Wayne. I think these are like big areas for this album. This is huge ground for this. Best Doom performance in years. I loved hearing Quelly Chris and Denny Brown like finally collab over a beat
Apparently
that sounds like an arcade machine.
Apparently they have another collab somewhere. I forget what track it is, but someone tweeted that it's finally good to have a Danny Brown and Quelly Chris collab, and Quelly Chris responded with 2 collabs.
Quelly Chris needs to back up. John Wayne's track, his track record at this point is near perfect. Like, he's just killed everything in this past year and this year.
I don't think John Wayne... I think his performance on this is kind of... It's not bad. It's just not his best. And I do not like the production he's over, so I just feel like he just doesn't... It just does not work for me. The Appetite with Rock Marciano, Quelly Chris, and Danny Brown. Reason I don't like the track. So there's this track that was released a year ago, called Superhero or Superheroes by Kool Keith. It features Doom. And literally some of the production just sounds a lot like it. Rock Marciano just sounds like Kool Keith in general. And he has 2 long verses that I feel like are not as goofy or as stupid as maybe some of Kool Keith's work, or as funny. I think they're just kind of lame and lackluster, and I wanted him to go away. Quelly Chris on the hook. On the hook, I don't really care for Quelly Chris. In his verse, I think he's fine. Danny Brown at the end is just doing what Danny Brown fucking does and just screeches, and I love it. And like, never stop doing that because you saved that track for me. Little Motherfuckers with Doom. That track just takes my fucking breath away every time I listen to it. Just the sample at the beginning with like, I think it's a clip from like a Superman cartoon.
It's a Superman.
It's like, light up the world, Daddy. Light up the world.
It's a Christmas cartoon.
Yeah, and then the production, I feel like Dabrye went out of his way to make a fucking fat beat that complimented Doom, or a beat that was like tailored to Doom. I felt like this was a Doom beat just made by him.
It was made for him.
It was essentially just made for him. Just like going over some of the bars on this line, on this like album, or on this track. I don't know why it took me so long to say that. Wild ass child rappers that need a timeout, cut off allowances and take away the toys. You think that's harsh? It's even worse for the boys. Whoop that ass in front of your friends, then drag them back by the earlobe. Like, don't do that again. Now get to them chores.
Don't do that again.
Don't do that again. Now get to them chores, or else you can hit the blunt for a month, and you're grounded. No outside, no out front. No outside, no out front line is just... It's my favorite line, one of my favorite lines of the year so far. But that track's amazing. But like, nothing on this album gives me that feel. Ghostface Killer on Emancipated. Oh wait, before I get to that, Tape Flip 2 is where I actually see your Avalanche's reference. I don't really see Jay Dilla.
I absolutely see. This is very
I
very
don't
much so donuts.
I don't see Jay Dilla anywhere in this album. I do see Avalanche's on Tape Flip 2. That reminds me of a very Since I Left You S track.
Yeah.
But Emancipated with Ghostface Killer. Ghostface is just quiet because the mixing isn't that good. He doesn't fit over the high-pitched synth sample. His character can't shine through. Ghostface is a very unique voice in hip-hop, and he has a very distinctive voice, and when I don't feel that on the track, even if it's bad, I usually feel like this is a Ghostface bar. And this, I don't feel like Ghostface bar. I feel like it's a copy of a Ghostface. Like someone, like he went to the office copy machine. And I told you this reference earlier, so I'm going to do it again, this fucking metaphor again. So Ghostface went to company's office machine, his copy machine. He put his butt cheeks on the copy machine and then faxed it to someone else, and someone else got a copy of Ghostface Killer's shitty ass, but it's sent through a fax machine, so it's a bit more distorted, but it doesn't really look like an ass at this point because something fucked up on the fax machine. Yeah, that's what this is. That metaphor makes no sense, but I love it, so I'm going to keep on saying it and acting like it made some sense. Did not make any sense. It's completely stupid, but I love that metaphor to death. I'm proud of that one. But Ghostface Killer on Emancipated is not good. The lame synth sample repeats itself to death and becomes annoying. A lot of the tracks on this album have no progression to them, and I just kind of wish they stopped. Some other moments. Electrocutor is probably my least favorite track on this album. It's only like a minute something, but it's a lame, almost industrial beat sampling a bass in metal, a bass drum in metal. Sorry, and there's like no progression to it, and it just like, why is this here? This is the only track that sounds like that. It just kind of sticks out.
Yeah.
I think one of the other moments I really liked Nova, Nolan the Ninja. I think Nolan was actually able to shine through on that track. I think his charisma was able to shine through. I like the piano that's on the track. I really like Nolan's line, heavyweight like Kevin Norton, my statue is that of Randy Orton. That's a great fucking line. But Nolan's able to shine through. And another one that's actually someone else that I think is going to shine through is Sisfo writing with Clear Soul Forces. They're quiet, but overall I really like their performance. I like their use of onomatopoeia. They're just like doing these weird ad-libs and shit, making all these weird sounds. They have a very enthralling performance. I like the synth of the beat. It's not the best production, but I don't think they're really truly fit over it, but I like their performance. I think it's so strong that it's able to actually outdo the beat. And then finally, the first Law of Nature Rock Day with Denmark Vesey. Flows really well. Denmark feels on top of the track. I think the mixing's okay. And then that's it.
It sounds like your main problem is the mixing. But like the mixing didn't bother me. So all these tracks that you're talking about are tracks I have enjoyed. Plus a couple that you didn't mention. Fight Sing with LaPiece. I enjoyed that one a lot. Just very like dreamy, floaty beat with like super catchy lyrics. And Stranded with Fat Father. That was super like bouncy and fun and carefree, summertime feeling track all around. And I've definitely listened to that quite a few times since the album came out. Really, the only tracks I absolutely hated, Bubble Up with Fat Cat. It literally is just the poor man's fight scene. Like, it literally has so similar of lyrics and so similar of a layout that it's not even worth having on the album. And I didn't like the Culture Shuffle with Cadence Intricate Dialect and Silas Green. So it was really spaced awkwardly. Other than that, when you're saying artists are too quiet,
I just think
the production was too
it's either they're
lackluster,
too quiet or the production just doesn't fit them, or it's just not like they shouldn't be over that beat. They just shouldn't be there, or they're not really enthralling enough, or they don't seem interested. Ghostface, part of the problem wasn't just the mixing. He just didn't feel like he wanted to be there. MF Doom, like, he seemed tired, but he was also like, he gave a good performance. Like, MF Doom in the last like 2 years has been super tired over like anything he's been over, and I think that's one of my problems with a lot of his bars, that he just seems like he's asleep. But on this, he does seem tired, but like what he's delivering us is so strong that it doesn't matter if it's tired or not. Yeah. I feel like a lot of the performances on this are just kind of lackluster. I think a lot of the production on this is kind of lackluster. I would not listen to any of the instrumentals to this on their own without the features, and that's a problem for a producer-based hip hop album if you rely on your features to so much. Like, take again, Avalanches. Wildflower has a lot of features on it, but I would listen to that album regardless of the features were on or not.
No, there's less features than on here.
Yeah, but like this album, it's built up of its features. Even Orange last year, The Ordinary Man, we complained that they're like we would have liked to seen some more features, but they weren't really necessary. But even the beats on their own, we would listen to those without the features. This, I need the features because they're the only parts that really redeem the track. Besides Little Motherfuckers, I think that beat's the only one that's like on its own, like truly a progressive beat that like flows really well through the 3 minutes or 2 minutes is given.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you mean.
But like the mixing's a part of it, the production's a part of it, the performances are a part of it, and in the end, the only people who really shine through Quelly Chris, just in his verse, Danny Brown, and Doom, and Denmark Varsity, and Clear Soul Forces or whatever they're called. But like I feel like, in the end, I feel like everyone could have done better besides Doom, because I think Doom's verse is like near perfect.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah. And Dana Brown. Dana Brown didn't need to prove either.
So what's your score?
Are you ready?
Sure.
Holding on. In the end, I'm just going to give this 5.1. I didn't care for it. I don't want to listen to anything besides Little Motherfuckers again. It's not something I'm interested in. I'm not interested in this hip-hop style that I think is really repetitive, and there's nothing that interests me. We'll talk about Black Milk later, and this is like, I enjoyed that more than this, but like, in the end, I think that suffers from a lot of problems of this, but like on the opposite scale, in the verses instead of in the production, because production's holding it back, and some of the verses are able to save this. The other one, the production is really good, solid throughout, but the verses are what holding it back. Weirdly enough, I don't know. But
So they should collab.
Maybe.
I'm giving this album a 7.5 because I enjoyed it quite a bit. And there's a lot of tracks on here that I think I'll still be listening to way after this whole album has blown over, I think. So I enjoyed it a lot. And I guess the production doesn't bother me as much as it did bother you. Because I still see like a lot of influences of EDM style music, or even like J Dilla or the Avalanches. I think that they shine through quite a bit, and I think that the features are, I think that they did a good job for what it was worth. Now there's like obviously some that are very forgettable that I won't listen to again, but for the bigger name people, these are all tracks that I would continue to find myself listening to in the coming months.